Good evening, everybody. Breaking news tonight, and it is big news. Reports that it is the Hillary Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee who paid for research to smear then presidential candidate Donald Trump. Let me repeat. The Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee helped fund research that resulted in the discredited dossier against Donald Trump. The Washington Post reporting that Mark Elias, an attorney who represents the Clinton campaign and the DNC, retained Fusion GPS to conduct the opposition research that resulted in the Trump file. The now infamous dossier contained false allegations that the Russian government had collected compromising information about Mr. Trump and that the Kremlin was engaged in an active effort to assist his campaign for president. And if the Washington Post reporting is fully grounded, it was paid for by Clinton and the DNC. The shocking new development comes as three House Republican committees are now finally moving forward with investigations into the Clinton web of corruption, probing deeper into the money machine that was the Clinton Foundation, the Clintons' collusion with Russia, and Hillary's ever-expanding email scandal. The House Intelligence Committee today announcing it's joining the Oversight Committee in investigating why the Obama administration approved the sale of Uranium-1 to Russia, giving Moscow control of 20% of America's uranium supply, and not even a whisper of opposition from the President of the United States. Chairman Devin Nunes telling reporters that he wants to know whether the Obama Justice Department was investigating Russian corruption and bribery before the administration approved removing 20% of the nation's strategic uranium assets and putting it all in the hands of the Russians.
What we're here today to announce is an inquiry into Russia's involvement into the uranium deal that was done several years ago. This is just the beginning of this probe. We're not going to jump to any conclusions at this time, but one of the things, as you know, that we're concerned about is whether or not there was an FBI investigation. Was there a DOJ investigation? And if so, why was Congress not informed of this matter? So that will be the start of the probe.
And Oversight Committee member Congressman Ron DeSantis, also at the news conference, he called on the Justice Department to immediately lift a gag order on the FBI informant who helped uncover the bribery scheme by Russian officials.
We do have a witness who is a confidential informant who wants to talk about his role in this, and we're in contact with the Justice Department to release him from a non-disclosure agreement. If that doesn't work out in timely fashion, then we obviously would be able to subpoena him. You know, on the Oversight Committee, particularly my subcommittee, we're going to be focusing on how the interagency process worked in this. We don't think that it worked out very well, so we have jurisdiction over the various national security agencies, and we want to get as much information as we can, and so we can see what happened.
And Victoria Tansing, the FBI informant's attorney, here on this broadcast last night, saying that that they are awaiting an appeal to the Attorney General for an immediate lifting of that gag order. Hillary Clinton last night, by the way, responded to the increased scrutiny and all of the renewed concern about that scandal. She dismissed it, as she does sometimes, as simply a partisan attack.
It's the same baloney they've been peddling for years, and there's been no credible evidence by anyone. In fact, it's been debunked repeatedly and will continue to be debunked. Me and, you know, President Obama, we're the ones that they always like to put into the crosshairs.
But it's not just Clinton collusion with the Russians that is now being investigated. The Oversight and Judiciary Committees are also launching a new investigation into how the Obama Justice Department handled Clinton's use of that private email server while she was Secretary of State. Well, joining us tonight, former strategist, deputy assistant to President Trump, now the chief strategist for the Make America Great Again coalition, Dr. Sebastian Gorka. Sebastian, great to have you with us. This is stunning news. It is what many of us suspected, but it is broad and it is a powerful statement on the level of corruption in the D.C. swamp.
It's incredible, Lou. Weren't we just complaining last time we spoke about the news cycle? There's just too much news out there. But this is reminiscent of one of my favorite movies. Do you remember The Hunt for Red October? A great Cold War movie. At the end, the evil Soviet submarine commander launches a torpedo to sink down Sean Connery's escaping submarine. And what happens? The torpedo circles back and kills him. This is what has happened with the so-called Russia collusion delusion. It was invented, it was fabricated by the left to explain the disaster that was Hillary's campaign, and now it has come back to blast a hole through the hull of the DNC. When this story gets bigger and bigger, we will know just how bad the swamp is, Lou.
Now, it is now taken an extraordinary order of magnitude leap, because with three committees now beginning their investigations, as we have talked about from the very incipient point of this, the DNC is at the center of so much. The DNC we knew to be hacked. We knew it to be hacked by Russians. We knew that the DNC had sufficient power to tell the FBI to go away. You're not going to investigate that hacking or the presence of the Russian hackers within the DNC processors. This is an amazing story already, and we don't even have the details.
But it goes on and on and on. Lou, it never ends. Whether it's Debbie Wasserman Schultz telling the police that they're not allowed to look at her computers, whether it's the way the FBI allowed one of the suspects in Clinton's server scandal to serve as her counsel, whether it was all the evidence, all the Blackberries, all the laptops destroyed by federal order, or whether it's the then Attorney General meeting with the suspects, the person being investigated, Hillary Clinton, meeting with her husband for a private meeting on a tarmac. I mean, if you read this in a fictional Tom Clancy book, you would say Clancy has just pushed the envelope. This is absolutely unbelievable. This is the DNC today. This is the level of corruption that we have to deal with, in which the president has to cope.
This is Tom Clancy night for you, for Red October as well.
Yes.
The metaphor may be extended.
But it's true. This is an incredible thing. This is all true.
And you know what else is true? We're watching also the politics of this thing. And by the way, I want to explain to everyone, we're going to have much, much more on the revelations about the DNC, the Hillary Clinton campaign, the false, the infamous Trump dossier, and the role that Senator John McCain played in turning it over apparently to the FBI, when we do not yet know conclusively whether or not the FBI had a role in the creation of that dossier. We're going to obviously try to move toward the answers to that. But no doubt there's a primary role for James Comey, the fired director of the FBI. I want to turn to two developments